following podcast may contain some adult language. You've been warned.
Welcome to Finding the Narrative, the Genesys RPG Podcast. This is a show dedicated to the Genesys Role Playing System, created by Fantasy Flight Games and produced by Edge Studio. A show in which we, your hosts, discuss all things Genesys from both a player's and a GM's perspective. I am Tony Fanning, and with me as always are my good friends and co-hosts, Chris Holmes and Stefan Dragonspawn. Stefan, how are you, brother?
I am good. Running my Realms of Turnoth game for you guys and our friend Daryl. So I'm back in the GM chair for Genesys games. I'm having fun with that.
Same here.
Yeah, good. Here was lots of role-playing opportunities. Last couple of sessions were awesome. And and it's a nice day outside today and yesterday, so we did some stuff around the house. Around the house, yes. So we're getting lots of sun and fresh air. So I'm doing good. How about you, Chris?
Well, first off, pretty sure I'm going to need to mail you some fucking WD-40 because that goddamn chair is squeaky as fuck.
I know.
I must say.
It's old, like me.
I thought that was your knees.
Lots of different things. Everything from gaming face-to-face again to golfing with my wife, which is the best thing ever. And then golfing today. Fucking. Okay, so I must tell you, there was something weird as shit happen today, man. I'm like 3 holes from finishing, okay? Mm-hmm. And it's like 65 degrees, sunny. I'm like kind of sweating a little bit. It's like 8:30 in the morning. Then all of a sudden, fucking clouds are coming in. Cold fog is rolling in. Temperature drops by about 15 degrees. And I'm like looking around for the goddamn zombies coming out of the freaking woods, man, because damn, it was creepy as fuck. And I kind of want to write a setting for it, like golfing with zombies or something. I don't know, but
golf fog.
Weird. Yeah, golf fog. I mean, it was. I was creepy. I was alone.
Golfers in the mist.
Golfers in the mist. I was alone, and I'm like, fuck. I kind of freaked out. It was awesome. Scary.
Luckily you were armed with your iron.
Yeah. Anyways, doing a bit of that. Gave up on putting my grill back together and bought a new one today. Daughter's putting it together. Thank you, Fallon. Love you so much. So, gonna be smoking some more meats again soon enough. Tony, how you doing, man?
Yeah, Tony.
Not bad. I sound like a broken record, but I worked all weekend. So, but I did binge watch Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh, that's a good series.
Friday night. The new season.
Oh,
I gotta say, only 8 episodes, so it's kind of super short, but
like
they're all good. They're all good. There were no bad ones. You know, like the other season, there were like 18, and there were a couple I was like, yeah, that. I didn't
like half of them were good. The last season.
Yeah.
This season,
they're all good, and there's some quality animation. There's a couple of them there where I was like, is this live action or is this animated? So good.
Yeah,
like
I know that in season 1, even my least favorite one still looked good. When the girl's trying to run away from the guy because she saw him kill someone, and I didn't like that one, but it's still compelling and good looking. So,
yeah, and even the one where they had like the limited, like the birth one, right, where they weren't with the kids, they were going around with the murdering the kids or whatever, right, keeping the population down.
Yeah,
that wasn't live action. That was all animated, and that looked sharp.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
That looked really good.
So, and did that. Like I said, we've been doing our usual role-playing games. I'm so looking forward to, for the first time in a long time, I'm looking forward to Starfinder this coming Wednesday. So I have it just the way we left that last time. Looking forward to, and it's more not the system. It's definitely not the system, but it's definitely the role play that we've got going, and where that's going. And I'm looking so forward to that this week.
And that, I mean, that's that Attack of the Swarms adventure path. We're on the last book. We've been playing that for 18 months now, since Con and a Cobb almost 2 years ago, every other Wednesday night with Matt and them, right? And Sean and Daryl, and middle of that adventure path, just we could have thrown out, but we pushed through it, and we're coming upon the end of it, and I think they're redeeming themselves with these missions kind of at the end, and I'm trying to rewrite it a little bit, but trying to keep the action going and kind of keep it moving, and it's pushing it to the finale, basically.
But yeah, that's
finish line.
That's where I'm at now. I didn't have to do any homework for this session, which was nice. All I had to do was just like quickly write up what we were going to do, and I thought that was really fun. So we're back to folks. We're back to the this is episode 83, Iron Chef Genesis, Cooking Up a Setting, Part 2.
And we're going to be buying a new grill today for it. So
we've each we're going to go over what we kind of rolled last time a little bit, and then we're going to get into finishing up, rolling up the random stuff for a setting, just to give you guys an idea how that setting generator works. Yep. So,
all right. Well, first though, let's go get over to boost that signal, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we are here to have Stefan boost the signal out there, where he shares some fresh news off the wire here, and reviews a project from Edge Studio, the Edge Studio section of Drive-Thru RPG. What do you have for us today, Stefan?
All right, well, thank you very much, Chris. Today, I haven't mentioned one of our listeners in a while, Chris Markham. Not because we don't like him, we like him a lot. We had him on the show once, simply because we've talked about some of his various products in the past. He's very prolific. He's come up with a lot of stuff, especially for Realms of Tirnoth. So in the past, I've tried to focus the signal on other creators that might not be as prolific as him. But he's come up this time with two pretty cool supplements for Realms of Tirnoth, or any other fantasy setting, really, that covers traps. Traps is not something that maybe really focused on in Genesis. Not even the Realms of Tirnoth book mentions it, really. So he came up with Treacherous Traps 1 and 2 recently. So both books are just over 28 pages long, and with about one trap per page, an intro and table of contents at the end. So, but you get at least 20 traps or so in it. Each trap has either an image of it in action, or a diagram that kind of helps understand the mechanism, how it would work. And then he goes on in the meta to describe the game mechanics of it, the chances for noticing it, bypassing or disarming it, and of course what happens when it actually does go off.
Cool.
Yeah. Each book has some flavor text. He had introduced in one of his other supplements a gnome character called Grisbane Gear Grinder. There you go.
There you go.
Third time's the charm. which is cool. So some of the text blurbs are kind of nice, a nice little touch. And because I'm an ancient Dragonspawn, I remember an old series of trap books from the old Shifty 7D games called Grimtooth Traps. And he had a whole series of these.
Those are nasty as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
They're
so
great.
The books had a variety of traps, from some silly ones, some that are simple but deadly, and of course many of them, which I enjoyed sometimes going over, although I never used any of them, but many were interesting by their sheer complexity and ingenuity, with different bits, hooks here and there, entire hallways just being on the ball bearing kind of sphere and just tilting 180 or 90 degrees. And of course,
I think I ended up buying. They had a volume
of
those that came out. It was like 2 inches thick.
Oh yeah, I remember buying the originals, just Grimtooth Traps 1, 2, 3, 4, Grimtooth Traps Light, and of course it had flavor text by the Goblin Trapmaster Grimtooth, hence the name of the series.
That's awesome.
So kind of a little throwback to that I found, which is kind of nice. And each one is only $3 US on DriveThruRPG, and we'll have the links in the show notes. So thank you very much, Mr. Markham, for that. Another great little resource.
I'd like to comment on which one is my favorite.
Sure, go ahead.
Out of all the traps in there, in all the settings, or both of them, and that is in Treacherous Traps 2.
Right.
On page 18, there's one that's called the Bee's Knees.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Which introduces the bee swarm. As an adversary. And just say, this is a nasty trap for a wilderness trap. I'll say no more. It's good.
Okay. So
yeah.
All right. That's awesome. So he's basically, is it fair to say that Mr. Markham here is keeping the theme of Grimtooth deadly traps? These are fairly fair to say that these are fairly deadly?
Some of them can be deadly. Some can be just a challenge.
All right.
Some are comedic.
Yeah.
Some of them
sticky
are what?
Floor. Some are just comedic, like the sticky floor.
Oh, that's the best part. Right. Yeah.
One is called 99 bottles, like 99 bottles of beer on the wall.
Oh, that's great. Well, I remember. So one of my favorite Grimtooth traps, a rope hanging from the ceiling over a pit, right?
Yeah.
And there's like a fake wall on the other side, right? So you grab the rope, right? That's like obvious. Let's just swing across. Yeah. And when there's a picture of a fighter swinging across, and when he swings across, it actually pulls down the wall and makes a wall of like spikes available, like seen, so that he's just gonna like splat right into
himself.
Yeah.
I've seen a variation of that one where
something like that.
Once an adventurer grabs onto the rope, but the rope sort of swings down, there's more loose in the ceiling, so you actually fall into the trap.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's just it's just so brilliant. It's great.
Yeah. There was another pit trap in the Grimtooths that caught my eye way back when, and that was this one, my favorite. You had your standard spike pit, and your rope hanging above it, and the players would grab a hold of the rope, and until they put their weight on it, it didn't squish enough, but the rope was woven around a string of razor blades.
Oh,
so when you grabbed a hold of the rope and you actually put your weight on the rope, then your fingers would get cut off by the razor blades and you'd fall in the spike pit.
Oh, Mr. Grimtooth, you little nasty little goblin, you.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grimtooth.
That's right.
What else is there, Steph?
That's it. That was it. I just focused on those two things. I thought they were pretty cool.
Excellent.
So there you go. Go visit DriveThruRPG. There's always sometimes new additions on for the Edge Studio. You can always filter by date added. It'll show you the most recent ones. So yeah, go ahead, throw a couple of bucks at Chris Markham. Get these for great inspiration. and check out the other stuff. I hope that helps boost Mr. Markham's signal and bring some attention to him, so we can bring out some more great, awesome content. And that's it for boosting the signal. Ta-ta-ta.
Welcome to the Books of Genesis.
That was horrible. Jesus.
Yeah.
I think we just lost all our listeners.
This is where we break down a section of one of the books of Genesis bit by bit. This time we continue to sample and get a taste for the random setting generation, chapter 5 of the Expanded Player's Guide, pages 40 through 56. Now, last time we rolled up steps 1 through 3 of the rules in there and kind of came up with these settings and wanted to recap them. What we kind of just an overview of what we've rolled so far. So, Chris, let's talk about yours a little bit first.
Sure. Okay. Well, let me tell you what I rolled on each of the steps first. So the tropes I picked 2 to roll up. The historical aesthetics and steampunk. So came up with like a historical setting, something like a classical historical feel. I picked Cold War as the feel for this world, and then steampunk, obviously the Victorian England feel for it. I turned the Cold War thing kind of up on its head in the sense that that's basically what killed the world. So this is going to be the post-apocalyptic setting of this world because of the Cold War here. The themes that I wanted to use are, rebellion, oppression, resistance. What are you willing to do to survive? Black market smuggling stuff, The technology level that I rolled up, which throws us on the head again, threw me for a little loop, was the Iron Age. So we're talking iron weapons, kind of like your, chariots are not unheard of. Fighting on horseback. I think Thundar the Barbarian, when I, Ukla aerial ride, right? A lot of, maybe a lot of horses, maybe clockwork steampunk horses or whatever. Who knows? Because the world itself, the structure of this world, it's an artificial world. It was a steampunk planet I chose. Hot. It's a hot world because it's a steampunk planet. Steam, everybody. There's coal being fed into this thing at the core of this world to keep it going, I think. I don't know, but it's fucking hot. All right? So think, if anybody's watched Vikings, if you haven't, go watch it. Okay? So Vikings, take that setting, that level of kind of technology, and drop it onto Cybertron after the Decepticons and after they trash the world, okay, and trying to survive, and the world itself is mountainous. The entire world is mountainous, and there are these it's a megapolis, so pretty much all over the place. You have what's called for, and thank you, Tony, for this word, steam peaks. Okay, all over the world that people are trying to get to, maybe explore. So the setting type, going to the very top of the setting sheet. I'm in the expanded setting sheet here. Setting type is post-apocalyptic. The setting name is Runes of the Steam Peaks. That's where we're at for my setting. So, who wants to go next?
Go ahead, Stefan.
All right, I'll go next. So mine, a little bit different. I call it the the Hearts of Adamantum. I'll explain a little bit why. So my trope that I got was magic, lots of magic, and acquisition of it is the goal of most major characters. Most of it takes place in this new frontier, at the edge of civilizations and beyond, with some gritty realism. So sometimes the bad guys win, heroes sometimes get major setbacks and so forth. And one of the themes is in integrity. How far are you willing to go? And what are you willing to do to gain this magic? And I subverted magic, the magic trope, instead of having actual spellcasters or using spells and so forth. Magic is a limited resource that's called adamantum, which is a diamond-like stone that releases this magical energy, and they almost use it almost like alchemy. So they have to create these devices. But of course, they're not high tech. There's this classical antiquities kind of technology level, a little bit like ancient Greek or Roman societies. And since the home empire is a part of a huge forest, but there are large cities with lots of natural beauty, integrated maybe the idea of classical Greece, like the huge cities of Athens, ruled over by an elf-like race. So they integrated all these beautiful monuments and temples made of marble in these huge woodland settings. And to maintain all of this civilization and beauty and art and culture, they have to send their forces and troops and other people maybe less savory, maybe ex-cons or their military, into the frontiers to get this adamantum. And in these frontiers, there's these huge animals. It's pervasive. They've got mega fauna, so huge versions of animals. So dinosaurs that are even bigger than dinosaurs. Everything is upscaled. So they have to deal with that in order to make the world work. And that's where I am with the Hearts of Adamantum.
Nice. So,
Tony.
for mine, I had rolled up.
Yours is a bit more salty, if I remember.
Yes, it's a underwater superheroic fantasy, I guess is what I would call it. So I rolled kind of the tropes of superheroes and underwater action with a theme of exploration, and I kind of got a trope to subvert and a theme to subvert. In that the trope that I was subverting were dungeons. So I kind of got this weird kind of, I don't know what to do with this, and then the theme I was going to subvert was good versus evil is what I got. So I got, well, evil versus good, obviously, and then that hit me. So it's a water world with small bits of landmass. That sneeze still hit me. Gosh darn it. I muted it in time. But these characters that the players will be playing are an underwater species. They're shark people that have started to develop superpowers. And these superpowered player characters are encouraged by their peers or individually, they have reasons for doing it, but to plunder these ancient dungeons that are on the surface, a surface that is racked by storms. It is a cold world, so it's cold waters, think Deadliest Catch kind of weather.
Nice.
And these dungeons are protected by almost angelic spirits, which a lot of the adversaries will be themed like sanctum creatures from Keyforge. spiritual creatures and whatnot. And so they're plunderers, they're tomb plunderers, tomb raiders, and
Awesome.
And they're not necessarily good guys. They're just considered they're aberrations amongst their kind. So therefore, I came up with this name for the setting as Aberrant Tides.
Cool,
my
dude.
world is Earth-like, kind of, but it's a little bit more watery. And the surface of the world are these little pockets of dungeons and tombs to be raided.
Mm-hmm.
And the world I was called Charybdis, is what I named it.
Nice.
And that's where I'm at.
Cool.
That not bad.
Yeah. So we got so we got through steps 1 through 3, and that's where the first 3 steps got us, everybody.
Yeah.
On our, and that's a lot, I must say. I mean, definitely have a lot on each of these things here. So I guess open up your books. I think we're on page, what is it, 49?
50.
No, 50. 50. So determining a religion and cosmology here.
Yep.
So yeah,
ahead,
I
Chris.
guess well, I mean, you'll want to, when you're brainstorming these, what roles your religion plays in the setting, there's a table for it.
Yep.
Religions and cosmologies, table 1, or table I guess 1 4-8 there on page 50. D10s. Oh crap, I need to get out of D10.
Yeah.
Where are they? I'm such a
mine out.
slacker. Jeez. Look at this.
Yeah, you've never done this before, have you?
Okay, here we go. I got a D10 out.
Grill porn all day. That's what it's.
I know. Well, my daughter had to show me that the grill was put together. Yes, baby. Anyways, so I guess right now, so on this part, we'll just see kind of the basics of the religion here,
right? What
they may be. So I get, I'll go ahead and roll one. All right. Let's see. The D10. I rolled a 7.
Ooh.
A 7 is many spirits. Ooh, okay. So many spirits. So this religion believes that most things have a spirit that is discrete and identifiable entity. Things with a spirit include people, animals, and plants, but also rivers, mountains, forests, fields, and crafted items.
As well as steam.
Yeah. This religion may draw on the line at mass-produced, disposable, or consumable items, but anything with significant presence in the physical world also has a significant presence in the spiritual one. Okay, what I am thinking here, the reason why many spirits is the basis for this religion, it's a freaking steam-powered world, right? Mm-hmm. There are some strange fucking sounds coming from this world that are coming from these steam peaks.
Yeah, what's going on under the peaks?
Right, and these are the spirits that people are kind of believing in. It's these sounds coming from within, and the different tones that they make are the different spirit types or whatever. Okay, all right, I'm liking that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
That's what I got. Okay,
nice.
Next.
Tony, you want to go next?
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to roll my D10, and I got an 8, which is a monotheistic religion. So this religion venerates a single deity. The deity may be visualized as in an ideal form of the principal species that worships it, or it may be a concept or an idea. The deity may take an active role in directing its followers' lives, or it may grant its followers free will and autonomy to do what they want. Whatever the case, the deity is the source and example of divine or superheroic power in the setting.
All worship the great Meg.
So, and then it says if you choose or roll this result, roll further another D10, and we'll see what we get there. So, and I got an 8 again, which is it's an amoral deity. On a 5 through 8, your deity is amoral, neither good nor evil, which seems so. It is one deity that is neither good nor evil. So I'm thinking something to do with a deep sea entity that is neither good nor evil.
Don't you have this maw? Not maw, like
pit.
the big, like the pit.
Yes.
Could that be your?
Oh yeah, I'm thinking something like a dweller in the deep type that lives within the pit.
Yeah.
And
that don't matter if it's evil or not. It's just neutral. It's just there.
It's just it is there, and its machinations are hard to understand. But they venerate and worship the dweller in the pit, the dweller in the deep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
The great deep one, maybe?
The deep one. Something. Yeah. Yes. I don't know. The dweller in the deep, I think.
Nice.
What was it? In that new movie that was on Netflix recently, they called it.
What movie? What was that movie?
I can't remember the name of it now. But anyhow, it's neither here nor there. It's Mr. Deep or something like that. They call it. It's basically their nickname for Cthulhu.
Right.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah. All right, Steph, go ahead.
All right. I will roll my d10. I got a 2. 2 is no divine spark whatsoever. Religion is entirely absent from this setting. There are no gods and no beliefs in the divine.
Heresy!
Instead, societies are secular. It is up to you whether religious beliefs did exist once but have been forgotten or are excised, or if your setting never had a belief in the divine. So, right, so no divine at all right now, anyway. Perhaps the elves, elven-like race have developed an intellect along with the magic, saying, no, everything can be explained, and it's not God that's behind this. It's all the adamantum.
Yeah.
And we are masters of our own. So
could even be emerging. Could be one where divinity is breaking into the setting too. You could do
maybe. That. Yeah. Maybe the religion of the adamantum, where a being had revealed it to them, and now it's becoming almost a religion.
Praise science.
Yeah.
Let's see. So then, so like a few paragraphs down in here, there are some questions here to ask yourself about it seems like once you've rolled on this table and you kind of get a basic structure. Like, so for instance, for Tony and I have more of just bunch of spirits, right? And he has the single, like, neutral, all powerful. And they ask, like, how prominent is a religion in your setting? I mean, is it ubiquitous? Is it everywhere? Is it like just growing, like maybe in yours, Stefan? Maybe it isn't like really nothing. Maybe there is just a small little thing there. Are you taking real religions like Tony? Are you maybe adapting a real one? Or are you creating a new one? Do we have a active pantheon of gods meddling in the affairs of mortals or the deities? Doesn't seem like it with either the ones that we've rolled, Tony. You're setting entirely secular with no religious beliefs at all, which I believe that's what you had rolled up there.
Yeah.
And then how do the religions in your setting affect the societies there?
Yeah, you have to think that religion affects like a lot of parts of our lives, even when we don't think about it. Like, death rituals, all kinds of daily rituals, blessings, marriages, birth and death, and holidays and special events, or harvests or whatever. So depending on the settings.
Yep. I mean, the one that I rolled here is, a lot more of like your your spiritual, like I think of like the Native American spiritual animals, like when your spiritual guides and such. And in this one, I don't know, I'm still getting that idea of like the inner parts of the world that are ticking, that are moving inside of this world, are creating these sounds and maybe vibrations that people feel. And some people maybe are tuned into those resonant frequencies or harmonics or whatever, who can hear them. And maybe those are the shamans of the world that can actually hear those sounds and can sing them or whatever.
And how about subverting that particular kind of trope? Like, instead of spirits, as we think of it as spirits, maybe when the world was being built, you had these almost like steampunk kind of computers, and the spirits are actually like almost like primitive versions of programs that are trying to maintain the world and keep the coal burning and the fires hot and all.
Stefan, I like that, dude.
It's like a thinking engine kind of thing where it's, instead of circuits and silicone,
instead of the sounds of the steampunk, maybe AI / programs, working the system, right?
That's it.
Okay,
so,
cool.
You've got all these, whether it's punch cards or steam and stuff, and gears that are running all these routines to make sure the world is still, hot, and the fires of coal, lots of rails with coal, parts of coal maybe running all over the place.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
I don't know, just an idea.
All right. Nice. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here in this section? Maybe.
So like that. Like you were saying, not everything has a spirit. Things that are mass produced don't, but the major big machines are represented as a kind of an AI. Yeah. Good. Okay. Sorry.
No, that's good. And I'm thinking that maybe some of these, like the, what do we call those? The spirit, the steam peaks. The spirits of the steam peaks are probably one of the more revered spirits, right? Because they may make the most sounds or something.
That's it. Some big mountains, have names. Those are maybe represent one of those big thinking machines underneath. Even if the name isn't exact, maybe the name has changed a little bit, and they call it Mount Doom, but it's Dumarajik.
Okay, cool. All right. Cool. All right. So, what do we have next there, Stefan, to do?
Then we go on to step 5, selecting a government and general society. So government is one of the first things we think of when we think of society. It's usually much more than just the way it's organized and run, but governments tend to define a lot about how the rest of the society operates. So we need to define some of that.
Okay.
I can start it off. Again, it's a D10. See what I get. I get a 5. City-states. Well, kind of fits my big cities in the home empire. Here, each city is also its own state. Cities control the territory around them and trade with their neighbors, make war on their enemies, and generally perform all the tasks of a national government, but on a limited scale. Forms of the various city-state governments may be wildly different, or they may follow a similar pattern across the region or world. If your setting is Stone Age, consider re-rolling this result. I'm okay. I'm classical, kind of classical Greece, so there were some fairly detailed politics and government back then. Okay. So if you choose this result, roll another D10 for either for the region as a whole or for each city-state. I have one home empire, so I'll just roll one once, and I get another 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to 6. Your city-states are controlled by hereditary rulers. Here are the Terry rulers. There. I can speak English, I swear. Hereditary rulers.
Nice.
So it's inherited rulership. There you go. Whether it's kings and queens, could be barons or knights, whatever. Titles.
Passing on rulership to your kids.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's it. So there you go.
All right. All right, Tony. What you got, man?
All right. Well, so for government-wise here, I honestly don't think many of these fit. So I'm going to roll, but if I don't like what I get, I'm just going to go ahead and choose the one that I like the most. I haven't done any choosing yet on any of these, and I think this one kind of...
This might be your choosing one?
This might be the one where I decide to choose, and yeah, I'm not going to go with that. So in this case, local rulers or councils. This is slightly or more organized than pure anarchy. Here, government exists in the small scale, with groups of several hundred people electing mayors or councils, or being ruled by hereditary lords, or following the banner of small enterprising warlords. It is up to you what form these social groups take. They're going to take the form of rolling a d10. In this case, your social groups are organized by the most charismatic or terrifying of the bandit kings or warlords. I rolled a 9. So in this case, I honestly think this fits, because my races are groups of sharks. They travel in pods. Each pod will have a warlord or a leader or an alpha as their and they're going to travel. We're going to call them packs because they seem kind of nice to take on that kind of wolf pack type mentality where there's an alpha, a troop. So I'm going to call them packs.
Actually, they're called shivers. Yeah. Sharks, groups of sharks are called shivers. So shiver me timbers.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and go with wolf mentality here.
That's awesome.
So in this case, they have packs, and each pack will have an alpha male, alpha female, and those will be your leaders, and then they would be challenged because that kind of fits with my religion, which I kind of filled out the rest of the way there while you guys were talking about Stefan's, and that is the dweller in the deep being an all-powerful creature that is the embodiment of evolution and becoming an apex being. It is through spiritual, physical, and mental trials that the people of the waves became the dominant species on Charybdis, and therefore they seek to face these trials both as individuals and packs to become a more involved being or group. So that way, as a group of players, if you're going to play in this, you would make your own pack of shark people, and their individual superpowers vying for dominance amongst the pack, as well as vying for dominance maybe amongst the larger group, what we would call a super pack, something like that.
Cool, dude.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Very nice, man. That's pretty awesome. I like that.
That works for me. So,
okay.
Yeah,
it kind of makes me
that.
Think, that actually makes me think of that the werewolf, the apocalypse game that we played.
Yes.
Right? Isn't like was the world spirit? What was that? Like the maw? No, not the maw. Can't remember.
The worm.
The worm. Yeah.
The worm is the corruption. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Like it, man. All right, let's see here. Okay, so my government. All right, my government. I'm just gonna roll. Let's see.
All right.
Might as well just go completely random on the. It makes sense, considering I've got like a steampunk world made of. Okay, I rolled 3. Local rulers and councils, kind of like that too. Kind of like you rolled there. Tony. Yeah, I like that. Okay. All right. And I roll again to see the leaders. So this would be like the local leaders, like kind of how that's organized. Okay, each religion rolled a 4. Region, I said, so 4. So social groups, mostly democratic, they elect their leaders. So okay, cool. I like it.
Very nice. Yep. So
And I
that
like,
was
I like the idea of this, these groups being more nomadic, like tribes, like roaming around the world, just kind of surviving, moving place to place, going from Steam Peak to Steam Peak. Right?
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're actually just going to choose that one?
I rolled it.
Oh.
I just
Okay.
rolled it. The local rulers and councils. And then I
No,
rolled the 4.
Oh, gotcha.
And then it said, like one of these, it says, it's up to you what the form your social groups take.
Right.
So I'm thinking like the roving tribes, and then, it's a democratic, so they elect their leaders of the tribe, right?
Got it.
Whether it's the elders or maybe they just elect, they elect them, and then they kind of lead those groups as they're moving around. For now, I think we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Sounds good. So after we've chosen the governments, they suggest going to table I.4-11 for objectives to determine the goals of your government or governments. It sort of jumps from table 9 to 11, with jumping to table 10 for now, which is factions and other organizations.
Right. So you want the objective of your groups.
Your group to see if, and again, you
First.
can roll it. Yeah.
You can roll it or you can choose. Yeah.
Yeah, because they mentioned that factions and organizations can be important, but it's an optional step if you don't want any organizations, criminal gangs, or mega corporations, stuff like that.
You know what I rolled? You know what I rolled last time? I did roll one of those last time. Other inhabitants and oddities. I rolled for an organization, a monastery.
Oh, right, yeah.
Military oriented. And I'm thinking that I was kind of thinking those were like a warrior monks oppressing the people, trying to organize. I don't know. It was I had made notes on like warrior monks. Now, how would that fit into this? Maybe that's why people are.
Yeah, maybe they're the monks that know a bit more about the spirits.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's true. Or maybe that's why like a lot of there are a lot of these roaming tribes that kind of stay away from the monks.
Yeah. Never know. All right. Well, do you want to roll for your not factions, but the objectives?
Yep.
All right.
I can kick it off if you'd like.
Sure, go ahead.
So I had a 17.
Yeah, this is a percentage roll this time.
Yes, 17 is exploration. That makes sense. These organizations or these packs want to explore specific regions, and that's they form these packs to explore the dungeons.
Yes, that makes sense, dude. You rolled exploration.
Yeah.
Yes. And plunder the resources from them. So that makes sense.
Okay.
Very good. All right, I'll go next.
Go for it.
And I get a total of 98. Is that right? That's a 90? No, 68. 68.
Oh.
Where is it? 68. Overthrow. The organization seeks to overthrow the head of a government or other powerful entity. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. What organization do you have there, Stefan? That is this like the?
Well, maybe I could roll on the factions organization. Maybe that's that you mentioned, like maybe a emerging religion. Let me just roll quickly on the factions and organization to give me an idea. This time it's a 90. Our religious organizations. Well, there you go. a group of believers or individuals. Okay, this level of organization in this group depends on the level of organization in the religion. Well, since there's no divinity in my world, apparently, maybe it's an emerging religion that wanted to overthrow the current secular government.
Nice.
That sounds good.
Okay.
You got some political turmoil there.
Yeah,
that is
definitely.
Absolutely. Very
Very
nice.
Yep.
So I'm going to
Alright.
roll 2 objectives. I'll roll the objective. The first objective would be the objective of those monks, the monastery, the military monastery.
Right.
What is their objective? Okay. 43. All right. Well, that makes sense. Enforce the law enforcement. They're all right. These okay.
that lines up.
That kind of lines up, doesn't it? They are the law enforcers. Let's see here. Law enforcement. Okay. Just kind of copying. Okay, and then the second one. So then these nomadic packs. So basically, this would be kind of almost the same kind of thing that you had done, Tony. Kind of what is the objectives of maybe like the PCs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's kind of what this is. Why are these nomadic tribes moving around a 5? Assassination. All right. Huh.
You rolled one that doesn't work.
Was that?
You rolled one that doesn't work. Good luck fitting that in there.
It doesn't really work.
Pigeonhole it.
Yeah.
Let's fit that square in the round hole that is the world of steampunk, whatever the heck.
I mean, honestly, it seems like why would people in a post-apocalyptic
want to just go assassinating people?
Why would people in a post-apocalyptic world?
I think it's
just go around assassinating other people.
I think I already have the objective. I think it goes to my main theme that I made last time is the survival. I mean, what would you do to survive? It's survival. That's their main objective here, you know.
Mutual protection of the group.
Yeah, protection. I think that's probably would be the good one there. Yeah, if I cherry pick one, I think that'd be best. Survival, protection. Yeah. Okay, excellent.
Right. Now it tells us here that other factions and organizations. While important, the government is seldom the only organization in your society. There's other factions. Now, Chris, you've already got one that you had kind of keyed into earlier as an element that you had rolled as a surprise element in your setting. Mm-hmm. And Stefan, you also kind of wanted to do that as part of yours there. But other factions and organizations include everything from criminal gangs, mega corporations, political parties, and unions. You don't have to add factions or organizations to your setting, but unless it has very few social structures at all, they're going to go a long way toward making it seem more realistic and lived in. Mm-hmm. Now, in this case, I honestly think that for my setting, because it's so tribal and already these tribes have each one has an individual goal that's the same as everybody else's. Just how they go about it is going to be more their thing. And maybe what their groups comprise of. These little super PACs and schools of shark people. And
here's a question for you there, Tony. Something for you to noodle on. Is there an overall faction society that is encompassing this search for these artifacts that represent this search for the perfection of the species by going out and searching? Is there like a
I was going to say there's probably a religious organization is about all I would come up with that drives the tribes. You know?
Even though they have their own ways of going about it, is there a one organization,
overarching religious organization?
And
that's
is that
what I
what
was going to get at?
And I'm wondering if that's what this would be, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what I was going to get at. I don't really have anything other than that, as I don't need a bunch of them. I really just kind of need like the machinations and what this, and I honestly think that means I have to probably hand pick it as a religious organization, but roll its motivations.
Now, would there be, to kind of give you what's the word I'm looking for? You flipped the good versus evil on its head, right? Is there an opposing faction to this one?
Could be. There that there's organization to the angelic beings that are in the dungeons, that are what their machinations are and what they're trying to do. I could roll them too.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just you know what?
I'll do the two.
Out there for you.
I'll do the two. So I'll do the first one, which I'm handpicking the religious organization as being, that's the overseeing body of these giant tribes of or these small tribes of sharks. What's motivating these peoples?
Okay.
And
their basic tenets, right?
Yeah.
Why they're doing what they're doing.
Right. And I rolled investigation. I rolled 33. So the religion is actually using the ideals of their religion to investigate.
That makes sense.
What is above the land, what is on the land. They want to understand it. So the religion itself is more about investigating and understanding, and they use this evolution theory and the belief in the dweller in the deep, and how only those who have honed their powers and explored these dungeons will receive an afterlife. And they use that doctrine for their own investigations into what it is that's on the surface. There's a mystery there.
Nice.
Okay. Explains why they would even explore them in the first place.
Cool.
Now my secondary organization, which is what the surface dwellers are, I rolled a 23, which is a corporation.
23. Okay.
So the dungeon spirits are a bureaucracy? I don't think that doesn't fit.
Not quite. Stockholders and investors.
They're a society. That's better. I rolled a 05. They're a society of academics.
Unless they're part of a corporation that's beyond the stars, beyond that world.
It still doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The individual is dedicated to learning and research. So the spirits that build these dungeons, the spirits or divine beings, as they would be called, that have these dungeons that are on the surface, are actually a group of esoteric monk-like beings, and they did it for the purposes of they built all these dungeons, maybe these are laboratories, and trying to figure out science, and they did it for learning. These were centers of learning, and that organization's motivations much better. I rolled a 59, which is monopoly. So that organization's goals was to monopolize, the resources of this world, and exploit that for sale somewhere, and that's the mystery.
Cool.
Ugh.
Yeah.
A lot to that.
Yeah. So while you guys were doing that, I was also looking at maybe the objective of my city states. I had rolled protection, so they tried to protect their explorers / miners of the adamantum. And I added another organization, and I got 18 for clans. So clans are ruled, of course, by extended families, whether ruled by a patriarch or matriarch or other type of elder. And their objectives of each clan seems to be law enforcement. So wherever they rule, they're trying to enforce the laws. Whether they're corrupt or not, that's another matter. They might not always be noble. And I kind of see this. Yeah, you'll have some clans, and then these extended clans send out parts of their extended clans out to the frontiers as well. So you could have clashes of these clans outside, as well as they're vying for the adamantum, as well as trying to deal with the overthrow of this new religion trying to overthrow the government.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
So of course you can flesh out in the piece, the sheets there, the setting sheets. It gives you lots of other fields to fill out, like leadership and important individuals, regions it controls, other factions for minor factions. Again, type of organization, objective, description, leadership, and NPCs, but those can be added in later.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'd definitely probably have like a an NPC for one of the major monk, one of the leader monk monasteries, right? For the the law enforcement monks that they are.
Yeah. Even when you go back on step 4, determine religion and cosmology, then it also breaks down if there is religion, the deity names, morality, domain that they oversee, relationship to the mortals, and a description, if possible, with more details about. Yeah, exactly. You can fill that out with the players, maybe sometimes if. And religion, name, or morality, leadership, areas of influence, depending on if it's a religion with not any gods or just one monotheistic god, like Tony got. So, the relationship with government, relationship with society. Are they viewed benevolently? Are they despised?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that the sheet goes through it as well, so to help you out.
Cool. Yeah, pretty cools.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to cover in the various organizations and factions?
Well, I mean, they do have here. I mean, when you are creating your NPCs here, you can give them some personalities if you want, and they do have some personality. They do have like a chart here for personality traits. If you want to roll some. Like corrupt or frugal or suspicious, for some of these personality traits. And
quietly deadly.
Yep. And then, I mean, you can use, the motivations, obviously, from the core book, randomly roll up some fears and strengths and whatever if you'd like. For these to kind of flesh out these some major NPCs when you get to that point.
That's it. But sometimes just starting out, like with the character, he's ambitious. I can tell you a little bit about him.
Yeah. So. Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. And throughout this process, they also have like a sidebar with this Max character, going through his own, like creating his own, setting there. So as you go through your own, you can kind of go through and read what this person has come up with to kind of give you kind of some ideas. If you kind of get stuck anywhere, I recommend doing that. So let's see here. So then there was some. So then we've got like this general society.
Section.
Like what are your your setting society is like. What is it like to live, work, succeed in the major society of your setting? I
think we've all kind of already
populated
that a little bit.
By talking, but But the expanded player's guide at least walks you through just to make sure, like, did you think about this? And, even like maybe humans don't exist in your society at all. That is.
Yeah, that's one of the questions you want to ask yourself. What sentient species do you have? And then Tony, you got shark people. You're pretty much only shark people. For me, I don't know. What are you thinking, Stefan, for your setting there?
Since it's a lot of nature mixed in with the like old classical Greek stuff, I thought of having almost like an elven-like race. That's the dominant race. I'm not sure if that would be the only race. It could be variations of these elves, a bit like there's variation of humans. Just or even like Relevant Tyranoth has a couple of types of elves. The high elves and so forth. So you could cool. I could develop that a little bit. I would see like on the Home Empire, you'd have the almost high elves, city elves, and then frontier elves would be a variation on wild elves, perhaps, or wood elves.
Cool. That's pretty cool. I think for me, I think I'm thinking just humans now. I'm normally not one that just plays humans. I'm normally playing when I'm playing in my favorite D-Shift 7D game, I'm normally playing goblins or freaking halflings or dwarves, right? But I don't know. Here in this setting, I'm almost thinking I go with making the humans the different variants of humans, right? Mm-hmm. Using the different. I think from the core book and between the core book and the expanded guide, I think you can hit any. If you want cunning to be your main stat or presence to be your main stat, just pick it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And there's a few other people out there who've produced like different archetypes for humans and other supplements. So
yeah, totally pull that in too. Yeah. Definitely the post-apocalyptic setting in the expanded player's guide. I think there's some archetypes there for like the survivor. Definitely, that would be maybe the main one for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. And then the last, I think it looks like the last part of this section here. There's a handful of actually more than a handful. There's a few questions here that they're asking where you're establishing your societies and cultures. Questions like, pick one thing about your society or its culture that you would call its ideal. What would it be?
Yeah, or its stereotype. Yeah.
What is the story your society tells itself about its origins? That's an interesting one, right?
Well, yeah, lots of worlds or cultures, even on Earth, has different ways of interpreting the creation myth of the world. So,
yeah. Oh, here we go. Here's a good one. Pick 3 things about your society that you love. Pick 3 things that you hate. That's cool. Those are interesting.
Specific. What is one specific action, habit, or ritual this culture or species has? That can be cool.
What is your society's strongest ally? So when you're looking at different societies, where do they seek allies, and whom amongst them are their allies?
Yeah. And the flip side is, what is its most dangerous foe?
Yeah. Right.
I'm thinking as another.
I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well, in my world, I was thinking adding maybe another race, maybe of small halflings. They live outside of the Home Empire, and they almost build these small settlements on the backs of these huge monsters.
Dinosaurs.
Imagine dinosaurs, or even giant, huge turtles, like a small city on a turtle.
Nice.
With instead of defensive walls, they're battlements all around the edge of the shell.
Nice.
Okay, and then the next one is like, what is the social fabric of the society now? Is there a strong age or wealth-based hierarchy? In this case, like for instance, in my setting, it's definitely about strength. It's about, who's
your warrior prowess.
Yeah. Kind of. Are there major warring factions? Do the various packs war against each other? Is there a strict class structure? And of course there is. In a society like that, there's going to be a caste system.
One of the questions you can ask yourself, Tony, is when two packs, do they ever go after the same dungeon? Would that ever happen?
That would be more like an allies, where do packs ally with each other to create, super groups? Do you have several packs living in an area? Are they peaceful with each other? Are they at war?
Competing for resources.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a good question. Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
So again, people, these are good questions.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to those who break the norms of society?
Exactly. And then last but not least of the questions you ask yourself is, what is the overall economy of your setting? Because economy, in the case, like for instance of my surface dwellers, them trying to establish a monopoly. Well, a monopoly of what? What resource are they trying to monopolize? Is it all resources? Was it who are they trying to monopolize? I mean, if you're trying to monopolize, you obviously have someone you're selling to. If these are the only two races that are here, that's kind of were they selling to the shark people? No, I want to develop that out. What was their motivation? Who were they trying to sell that for? What were they trying to sell this resource to, or the refined good that they made from that resource, so to speak. And
right.
So
we want to kind of flesh all that out.
Yeah, I think for mine it might be, you know what I think? I don't know, for some reason I get the vision of what's her name from episode 7, cleaning parts that she just salvaged, just selling and bartering, right? And I'm seeing this survival kind of barter based system for economy in my setting. They're just finding this steampunk technology that they don't know what happens, but there might be people who can tinker with it and kind of make it work every once in a while, and could be.
That'll bring me into a next section, I think, in a way.
Good.
Where we get into step 6. There's a part of that where you'll want to look at something that already exists out there that you could borrow from if you were going to do that, and we'll get to that. But
cool.
So in part 6, it says to fill in the details and determine the rules that you want to use in your setting. In this case, we've done entire episodes for our settings previously on how to create skills and how to create talents and how to create careers and archetypes, species, and all of that. What I really wanted to focus on in this section is kind of the alternate or optional rules, because there's so many alternate optional rule sets out there in as far as supplements that are on the drive-through RPG in the in there. And I'm thinking one for you, Chris, that would work is the salvage.
Absolutely.
Setting. You could borrow from that salvage system.
Yes. I would actually, if I would ever write, I'll put it this way. If I would ever write this up, not saying I will, but I'll put this out to anybody else who would go through this process. And if they would write up something and they would find somebody who's created something as brilliant as that salvage setting and that salvage system, I would reference it. I would contact the creator of that, reach out to them and say, hey, look, this is what I've created. Can I use it? Can I reference your material and say, hey, you need to get this guy's stuff. Go get it to use mine. You know what I mean? I mean, or how would you want, and maybe you reach out to this person and how do you want to work this? How do you want to do it or whatever?
That's it. Can I borrow your kind of mechanic for this and tweak it for my setting? And of course, giving you credit, of course, where credit is due.
Yeah, it's credit, and I don't know how that works. I'm not in that publishing realm of how to do it, but reaching out to the creator of rules for that would be my first step. Absolutely, Tony. That's kind of what I was thinking. Brilliant.
Yeah. Of course,
And
if you're just using it for yourself and not publishing it, then you don't have to.
For me, I have one in mind. But did you have anything, Stefan, that you would kind of think of as alternate rules? Because the magic is an alternate rule set, but I think you're pretty dead set on having some kind of magic in your setting.
But it's not a magic where people actually wield magic as a force itself by just using words and or scrolls or gestures. They actually have to. Magic is like locked into something, and they have to unlock it that way to get an effect. Maybe akin to using runestones. That could be one way of view.
Or maybe mimicking effects from
from
Keyforge.
Ember. Yeah, from Keyforge, that's another option.
Because you've got a resource, you've got
that's it. So that's what it would look like, and you could use crafting rules from Tyranoth if possible. But yeah, definitely Keyforge seems to fit quite well, with this adamantum being multi-purpose sometimes. Maybe not having all the effects that Amber has in Keyforge. It may not grant powers. There might not be a race, or not a race, but a career based off it. But maybe
might not be able to eat it or make bread out of it.
Maybe not. Still, that would be definitely one of the things to establish what can you do and what can you not do with it.
Would it be
important?
A currency?
It could be part of currency. Look at ancient China and Japan. They use a monetary unit called koku, which basically is enough rice to feed one man for 1 year, or one person for 1 year.
Okay.
So
as a currency.
As a currency. So
how payment?
Yeah. So how much of this adamantum would supply you with enough? Let's say whether it's power or you could trade for food.
Gotcha.
That can be something.
Now,
a bit of alchemy. It's almost weird science kind of thing using this the stone. It sort of you can use it in some items, and it sort of unlocks it, whether it's a combination of alchemy or and metal, and it gives off power when combined with brass and bronze and some basic iron.
Nice. That's cool, dude.
Now, for me, I talked to you a little bit about it before we started recording, Stefan. I have recently purchased decks for the new Keyforge set. Dark Tidings is what it's called, and there's a mechanic for playing the game Keyforge, the card game, in there that's built into the new expansion for high and low tide. And I think it would be kind of cool to incorporate rules for high and low tides, maybe characters. And I have this idea. I had this idea, and I would obviously play test it. But how? Okay, it says right here at the top of my setting, my characters are superheroes. So first of all, I'm going to use the heroic talents from Tyranoth.
Yep.
As to kind of set that as you choose your talent. It's earned XP. Now maybe I would crank it up a little higher, and instead of going every 50 earned XP, I'd go with every 30 earned XP. You get a point that you could put towards your heroic power.
Okay.
But then I had this kind of idea of what I'd like to do. So for the species creation rules in Keyforge, there's this huge list of powers that you could have, right? And things that your species features, as they were called. And I like the idea of every character would roll 2. You have one that you can use during high tide and one that you can use during low tide.
Nice.
So you have
Gotcha.
your powers kind of change with the tides.
That's pretty neat, dude.
And that would be a unique rule to the setting that would make it unique and individual and fun to play.
Right.
And of course, that then the changing of the tides would be something that the GM could use. Maybe a player rolled despair, and the tide changes in mid-combat.
Oh, wow.
Otherwise, it's kind of a narrative thing. It's narratively, it's high tide right now, but during combat, you could have this rule that you could have as a rule. If your opponent rolls a despair, you can change the tide.
Awesome.
So, your adversaries are maybe they're a little bit more powerful than a high tide. And as a player, one of the bad guys rolls a despair. Ha! We're going low tide. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Okay, Tony, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Related to that. Now, it goes without saying you're going to be using the super characteristics.
Yes.
Right? Now,
A singular super characteristic.
Well, why don't you pick two? One for high tide, one for low tide.
Now that's not a bad idea.
That could be potentially related to their ability that they select.
Instead of a separate power.
Both. It's both.
Or, I'm willing to look at both.
That they
different characteristic for high and low tide.
Here's a question.
I like that.
So here's a thought. So maybe one person has, I don't know, I'm just saying, maybe one has they pick cunning and strength. Maybe,
cunning and brawn.
Right?
Yep.
Cunning and brawn, right? And one ability is for them to, I don't know, whirlwind attack. I don't know what the hell the abilities are. What the fuck, right? That right. You link that to your brawn. And then the low tide ability is something like a blurring or maybe a shifting ability or whatever that they can link to their cunning or whatever. So it kind of augments that super ability, and you have the super characteristic kind of linked to it. Just thought. Just wanted to throw that out there for you.
I like that. That's an interesting way of looking at it.
And you still have the one characteristic. Like you were doing. But
right. It's one at a given. I like that. That's interesting. That's a neat way to do it. And then of course you still have your heroic ability that makes you.
It's always on.
It's always something that you just activate with your story points.
Mm-hmm. They could even morph too, in a way.
Yeah.
Where you have if you do have that brawny or intellectual, if they pick them both, right? Maybe during the high tide, it just kind of bulks up a little bit, almost kind of werewolfing out,
or sharking.
Or we're sharking out, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Sharky.
And then he becomes kind of a geek at the low tide because he's got that intellect going, right? I don't know. Just
I don't know. It kind of gave me. That's why I had this idea with the tides mechanic, and I'm sure that I would flesh it out.
Pretty cool though.
The list of powers, and maybe the character. Maybe the player, instead of doing it by a random roll, the player chooses their high tide and their low tide characteristic, and then under that characteristic is a list of powers that they can either roll or choose from.
Mm-hmm.
And then likewise, and that's each characteristic. That way, you don't get during the low tide, my cunning gets the super characteristic, and I gain 2 extra arms, and they're swords at the tips of them. What? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I know.
Something tied to the cunning.
I would tied
create its own
to the cunning.
Yes, tied.
You said tied to the cunning. Yeah. Punning, dude. We're punning tonight, aren't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the concept, and I would do that. And of course, still, like I said, the heroic abilities is a great starting point for superheroes.
It's in the name too. It's heroic. I mean, come on, it's an ability that's just above and beyond what you've got. You can activate it, and
yeah. But anyhow, that's what I was thinking for mine.
Cool, dude.
Yeah.
I like it.
And of course, with my technology level, I don't need any special technology rules. Like Chris, yours is steampunk. You may want to have some special technology rules.
I will be having some special technology rules, and they're going to be related to a lower level of technology at a whole, finding advanced technology and how do you make it work. That's going to be the mechanics, the rules I would need to come up with for some of that. I don't know what you do with that.
Yeah.
That would be a challenge.
Mm-hmm. But mine's simple Renaissance level or fantasy level technology. So swords, bows, or harpoons, crossbows, spears, things like that. That's really where my technology level sits. So I don't need any special rules for that. That's done right, tearing off. It's done. I could just use that stuff right there. So
yeah. Yep. Very cool.
Sounds good. Yep.
But you, Stefan, you got any further ideas on this?
No, I think that
any
what I've got so
brainstorming for you.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty good what I've got so far. I mean,
we finding any more narratives for you?
Well, by talking, we've thrown around some ideas. And sometimes I think of some other stuff I've seen, read about. There's books I've read, or even old comic books I've pulled out. Michael and I the other day watched the movie Valerian, which is based off of an old French comic book called Valerian.
That was a neat-looking movie. If I remember the one you're thinking of, that was a neat-looking movie.
Yeah, and it's based off an old French comic book. And had a couple of nice stories. One of them where the two explorers, Valerian and Laurelin, go into this hollow world. Yeah. Because it's a planet spinning out of control, maybe dislodged from its own solar system, and it's about to crash into this other solar system planetary systems with new colonies, and it'll throw everything out of whack. So, and then they discover there's a society living inside the world. But they don't know what goes on beyond. They've never explored it, and they fight. There's two nations that fight amongst each other. One is ruled by men, one is ruled by women. So you got that. But the world, the city-state ruled by women are they're very large women, very Viking-like almost.
Nice.
With all the architecture being sometimes somewhat Gothic, a little darker. And then the society ruled by men is very bright and Renaissance, and they're a little smaller and very prim and proper, and they all like beauty and makeup on beautiful men kind of thing.
So the women perform death by snoo.
Practically, yeah. I mean, there are still men and women in the other society, but usually they're second class. So in the society ruled by women, there are men, but they perform all the menial tasks. They raise the children, they clean stuff, they're used as cannon fodder as well. Whereas the women are the elite warriors, and then the men in the other society, women do everything, including fight for them, and they just stand back enjoying their hookah pipes and watching the fight from afar.
Nice. Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, the last thing we want to cover. Were you done?
Yep, I'm done.
Okay. The last thing we want to cover, and that is, so you've got your setting. You've done all the work. You've laid out how some of your skills and talents that you're going to use. You've got your archetypes and your careers. You got your special rules all written up. How do you get players? Well, you need an elevator pitch. You need an overview. You need a 2 to 5 sentence description of your setting that will make people want to play it.
That's right.
It's simple, gets to the heart of what you're doing, and
or you just ask people who will say yes, like our gaming hoe Daryl.
I mean, the man never says no. So
no,
I mean,
exactly.
So I guarantee
we could get Daryl to play all 3 of these settings without even asking.
No,
That's
that's it. And you'll create characters with detailed backgrounds in them and everything.
Mm-hmm. They'll all probably be paladins.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
That'll
and
be,
twins.
No, just
There'll be
kidding.
twins with redheads.
But you want an overview for your setting that kind of encompasses it all. But that's really how it kind of came out.
Right?
Yeah. Wow,
It's
these
pretty
are
good. We all
these
got
are-
3 very different, very interesting settings.
we do.
I think I would play in any one of them
I
just to
totally
try it, at
would.
least as a one shot.
I totally would play one of those halflings on a dinosaurs though in your setting there.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
want to play one of the bad guys.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say they would be bad guys, just opponents. Yeah. Send this way bad guys. Maybe it's the elves that are the bad guys. Yeah.
And Tony, yeah, I'd like to play it. A shark.
Yeah. A shark lumberjack.
A shark.
That's a kelp jack. Thank you.
Kelp jack, yeah.
Yeah, kelp
Coral.
jack. Hello.
Coral jack.
A coral jack. He's a coral jack. Come on. That's totally got to be a career, by the way. Coral jack.
Yeah, whatever.
You have to have a gatherers, dude. You got to have a gatherers in your society. They got to be gathered coral. How the hell do you make your houses?
They just don't.
I
They
mean-
don't need them. They're nomads.
Okay. I'll play a hammerhead.
Sharks. They just keep swimming.
Hammerhead.
Oh,
Holy
gosh.
crap.
Well, folks, that's pretty much it.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
So go out there if you don't know what kind of setting you want to create. You know, maybe this is a good leaping off point.
Hey, take any one of the ones that we rolled up and run with it if you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run this one ever.
Maybe not, but it's a good exercise.
I'm totally not either. So, by the way, everybody, that kind of it got pretty crazy. Could be
Yeah, a
interesting.
little bit.
Yeah. No.
Maybe with a few glasses of Fireball. You know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, world's hot. Fireball. Mhm.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm definitely going to need a lot of rum.
Mm. And that's when we ask who drank all the rum. Tony did.
That's right. Oh, which by the way, I got some cherry rum wood pellets for the new grill.
Of course.
And on that note.
All right. So that was our Books of Genesis segment. And now we're on to part 3 of the show, Advantageous Threats. This is where we build, roll, and narrate dice results on some sample skill checks for our entertainment and hopefully yours. And this time we're back to part 2 that Chris is running for us. Very special segment. Take it away, Chris Holmes.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, on day 2 of the Lumberjack Universe Championship from the Zszree homeworld of, well, Zszree. I don't care what you say, Big Joe. Can the humidity be 150%? I think so. It's hot in this jungle. The homeworld of Rain here, by the way. One of our new hatchets
Yes.
came this year to the tournament looking to earn their new flannel vestments to be called Lumberjack. So let's get to know them a little bit more. Rain, what do you enjoy doing when you're not lumberjacking?
When not lumberjacking and chopping down trees and taking down the foes of the forest, Rain likes to create these zen-like sand and plant gardens with very intricate lines and the shades of various leaves, the light and the shadow playing. It helps him meditate and center himself before facing the evils and tribulations of the world.
Very nice. Very nice. And then, look who we have here. Maple. Maple, what do you enjoy doing when you're not lumberjacking?
Well, I'm a big fan of hockey and pastries, and I really love going to local pubs with my friends. I like to bar hop. That's pretty much it. Don't you know?
Well,
That's
and
that's
Big Joe
Canadian.
says,
That's Canadian cultural appropriation, and I resent it.
and Big Joe
funny
says,
as hell.
Big,
You hoser.
all right, you get a inspiration point. No. Whatever the fuck the word called
Which is
it.
totally useless in this particular.
Exactly.
Rules patch?
Yeah. All right.
I get a penny.
So,
So,
just yeah, there you go. You get a penny. All right. So yeah, we're back at our Lumberjack Multiverse Championship. We have our events. Last time we did the standing block chop, the single buck, and the speed climbing events where Maple is actually up 2-1. Rain actually took the speed climbing. What do you call it? Event.
mhm.
On that. So right now, all 3 story points are in the GM pool. And as we start day 2 of the competitions, the competitors are grabbing their axe, getting ready to do the springboard chop. Now, the springboard chop is a climb of a height to 9 feet using 2 springboard placements of a chop through a 12-inch diameter aspen log mounted on the top. What they have to do is they have to first put a notch in the aspen log, put the springboard in the side of the notch, climb onto the springboard, chop a second notch into the aspen, put a second springboard into the notch, climb onto that, and then chop off the top of the aspen log.
I've
Okay,
actually
that's
seen
the
that event on
springboard.
TV.
It's pretty
kinda
slick.
cool.
It's pretty neat. Now, this is going to require, and as we were doing these, we're doing a combination of 2 checks. This one is going to be an average athletics check and an average melee heavy check. We're going to add up the total number of successes, threats, not advantages, and triumphs to get the total. And in this first competition, this first event, we're going to have Rain go first here. So
Right.
why don't you make your average athletics check
All right.
first?
So average is 2 purple. I've got 2 green
Mm-hmm.
on that. So there you go. So I believe that is it. So you'll proceed. So do I roll the
Mhm.
dice?
Okay, that sounds good to me.
All right. So unfortunately, 0 successes and a threat.
Okay, 0, 0, 0.
Yeah, unfortunately,
All right.
athletics is not his best stuff.
No, climbing obviously isn't for the bug either. You you have kind of slipped a little bit, hit your knee. So you're gonna get a setback die on your melee heavy check when you do it. So
Right.
let's go to Maple to do his athletics check here as you're going. So you guys are going side by side, kind of at the same time. So we're gonna do Maple's athletics check as you're going.
Okay. Right now I have a 1 yellow, 2 green, and 2 difficulty pool.
Okay, sounds good. But I think you were out bar hopping last night. Your buddies came to Zal, I think. I'm gonna have to flip a story point here. So why don't you flip one of them? And I need to keep track of that, don't I? Being the GM, I'm not very good at this, am I?
That's all right. Right now they were all on your side, so 1 will be ours.
2 and
Yeah.
1. Okay.
There you go.
You're the
All
ones die. I'm the 10s die. There we go.
All right. Here we go. Rolling it up.
All righty.
Okay. And I too had a wash across the board of
Oh.
zeros.
Yeah, man.
Everything balanced out. Your upgrading caused me to fail.
Whoa. Well, no.
Your upgrading caused me to fail.
You bar hopping last night is what caused Maple to fail. That's what.
So I think instead of slipping and falling, he probably gets to the second board and starts to get a little queasy.
Oh yeah,
and just hurls off the edge of it.
A little vertigo there.
Yeah, so you guys are just hopping up. Rain just kind of slips and just kind of. He gets up there. Maple blows chunks. Now you guys are just trying to just hack through the top of this thing. So Rain, go ahead and make your melee heavy check.
This time I've got 2 yellow, 2 purple, and my setback dice from my threat.
Sounds good to me. That looks good.
Maybe but before all this, I forgot to mention. Maybe this is where he tries to focus. He remembers his exercises in his sand Zen garden there, and he's just trying to think of the precise motions. Does he get a boost die?
Does he get a boost die?
Maybe for
yeah, I would consider that like a kind of he's focusing and kind of aiming there. I'll allow it. Sure.
All right. Thank you. Die roll. Oh, good grief! I suck at this game. 0 successes, but 2 advantage.
Okay, well that
my boost dice and setback dice were blank.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sounds good. So you're
maybe extra time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's see how Maple fares here.
I've purged.
Wow.
So
yes.
I'm gonna feel lighter in the stomach, but
are.
I'm gonna have a little good bit of extra swing here. I'm gonna go ahead, upgrade.
There you go. All right.
With a player story point. So putting
all
of them back in your pool again.
All right, that sounds good to me. That's all right.
All
I got it. Sorry, I got a competition here. I can use them on. All right.
We got story points on our RPG sessions too. So.
And
you're keeping track.
I'm also aiming.
Yeah, you can take
it's a melee.
Oh yeah, I forgot to aim.
Melee aim.
I didn't even have to ask for that boost die. I gave it to myself.
There you go.
All
That's
right.
okay. I'm new to this game. I don't know what the hell is going on.
You are. I mean, we're talking. What is it? 5th generation lumberjack? Is that what?
Yeah.
You know what? He's been taught to breathe at the top of the pole here at the top, to breathe and aim twice. So 2 strain.
He's gonna take a couple strain too. Oh, okay, man.
All right, GM, are you happy with my pool, or are you going to?
It sounds like it's I'm pretty happy with it. Sure.
You're not gonna upgrade this one?
No, I'm good with it. I'm good.
All right. Oh God.
Oh, good grief.
0 successes again. 4 advantage though.
Oh, that would be the difference. Did you try it or no? No try. But 4 advantages.
0 success. So I'm probably did the whole breathing exercises, lined up the shot while breathing. Still hacking. Still
a little bit of bile came up.
You're dry heaving a little bit. but
I power through it.
You do. I mean, you literally power through it. I mean, you at a few swings there, you actually sync up with your, and you actually get behind it. And that's the difference. That's the 2, with Rain's 2 advantage to your 4 advantage. The event goes to Maple.
Yeah.
Even though you guys didn't roll any successes,
Nope.
Maple does finish first because he actually synced up his hurling.
I'd like to spend 2 of those advantage to
Absolutely.
Heal the strain from my
you
aim.
can. You totally could. Yeah, because you get down and you're like, yeah. One of your buddies from last night's like, oh, here you go, you hoser. He gives you like a brew. Like, here you go. Here you go. Hair of the dog,
Yeah. Thanks for the Holson.
That's right. It's one of those light lagers, I do believe. All right.
We didn't drink their bats last night. That's my problem.
Exactly. Alrighty then. Okay, so that was the springboard shop taken by Maple.
Yeah.
All right, now the next competition. So we take a little bit of breather here while the rest of the competitors finish the springboard chop, and then we go to the double bit axe throw. You're going to be doing 3 throws of an axe. It's going to be we're going to be using the improvised rules here to throw a 2-handed axe at short range. It's going to be short range, so it's going to be an easy range light check. It's going to be 1 setback die and 1 threat.
Right.
And you're going to be doing 3 throws. And we're just going to total up the number of successes.
If any.
Well, there's that. And that'll basically, and what these competitions do is, successes would be closest to like the bullseye would be the number of like points that you would get. So you would get a number of points for the bullseye, and then there's a ring outside of it, and then there's a ring outside of that. And then that's what these successes kind of would represent. Triumphs could be, would be your bullseyes, I would think, maybe. Potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, don't be doing that. Who's editing my freaking thing?
That's because you're having the numbers in the wrong places. It's supposed to be successes, triumphs, and advantages. And you had the numbers in the triumphs column.
Whatever, dude.
According to your notes.
Whatever, dude. Get out of my notes.
So I'm first, right?
Yes, Maple, you're first. Stop it.
All right.
Stop it. Stop it.
So
Messing me up.
It's my OCD.
Oh my God. Yep. Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to aim this axe. I'm aiming, and like I said, family taught me double aim.
Kip.
So there I'm at. 2 green, 2 blue, a black, a purple, and a threat.
Okay. Sounds good to me. This is your first throw, so you got 3 more. You got 2 more. So.
All right.
Go for it.
First throw, 3 successes, 2 threat, and
What
a despair.
Oh.
How'd I get a despair?
Because you put the despair symbol instead of
I
threat.
added a despair, not a threat. So it's actually
it's a threat.
3 successes, 3 threat. I added a despair, not a threat.
How long have you been playing this game?
No. Shut up, I'm drunk.
You're drunk already?
No, my character is.
Your character's drunk? That's great. All right.
Way to be immersed.
3 successes, threat.
Yeah.
3 and 3.
A despair. Sorry. Okay. How many threat?
I had 3 successes,
3.
3 threat.
3 threat.
All right.
Okay. You're gonna get an extra setback die in your next throw.
Are we alternating throws?
Yeah.
Okay.
Up to you.
Well, you know what? We'll just alternate, just because it's more fun that way.
Okay.
What they do in the normal competitions is you would throw your 3, get your score. The next competitor would come up and do it, but we'll just alternate it here, just because it's more fun that way.
Okay. All right. So I've got 3 green, purple, the black, of course, and the threat. I use the right symbol.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to double aim. So 2 boost dice.
2 boost dice and 2 strain.
Yes. So that's my dice pool. Roll it.
Okay.
Ooh, 2 successes, 3 advantage.
Ooh. Advantage. Nice. Okay.
I'd like to use at least 2 of these advantage to give me a boost dice on the next roll.
Sounds good to me. And 1 advantage would be, how would you like to use that last advantage in this?
Well, I got it a little closer to the bullseye than I thought.
Okay. Alrighty.
With a nice flourish, even though I'm tiny compared to the Musator, I managed with my extra, with my extra arm, maybe making it tumble and twist, almost like giving it a curve, which impresses the people.
Ooh, curving it around the thing. Sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Putting
Okay,
a little
Maple.
pepper on it.
Nice. All right, Maple. Second throw.
All right. Same thing, double aiming. Although I have an extra setback die. And I actually chose the threat symbol this time.
Perfect. So you don't get a despair. Okay.
Right.
Excellent.
I'm okay with my pool because the story points are all still in the GM side.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and I'll go ahead and flip one here because that technique that Rain used, you're questioning yourself. You're like, oh no, do I have to step first, then throw, or is it stepping and throwing? You're like, what the fuck?
All right, so there you go.
All right, I'm upgraded.
Just questioning your whole existence.
Now I'll roll a real despair.
We'll see.
0 successes, 2 advantage.
Oh. Okay. Alrighty then.
Outside it goes low.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of my head. Get out of my head.
Still hits.
Get out of my head.
Still hits the target though. At least didn't go over the target.
He didn't really get any points on that one.
Oh.
It was, and then you're thinking to yourself, "Fuck, step and throw at the same time." Damn it. What do you like to do with your advantage?
2 advantage. I'm gonna glare menacingly at the little guy and just, "You're going down, little man." Oh yeah. And I'm gonna give him a setback die.
Nice. All right. Yeah. So add an extra setback die.
I'm doing that. All right.
Okay.
I got my pool. I'm double aiming still, so 2
Okay.
and a third boost dice because of my own advantage I'm giving.
Okay.
Because he did a really cool throw, even though he's being glared at. Like
You're thinking, yeah. And then I'll go ahead and let's flip another story point there. Just put a second one in your pool, just because I'm, that kind of guy.
right,
I'm being nice, right?
Yeah.
Just
Okay, so
helping you guys. I'm helping you guys out there.
Yeah.
And the
But
reason
also-
for this one, and the story, and the reason for this one is, you're also kind of thinking, yeah, my technique was perfect. It was perfect. But you noticed what Maple did. He stepped then through. Now you're starting to question. You're like, oh, wait a minute.
But I spent I spent a story point too because I thinking no, what I did worked, so I can continue to do what I'm doing.
Right.
Although
so
there's
the one you had back. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. So now I've got a yellow, 2 greens, 3 blue, and a red and 2 green, and a threat. Do it.
Perfect. Go for it.
3 successes, 4 advantage.
3 successes.
So again, with the third arm, just making it spin even a little bit better than last time.
Sweet. So you have 3 arms on this axe instead of 2. Great. And
Okay.
Big Joe's up there going, oh, look at that technique. I wish I had a third arm like that. That would be so good. Look at how he gets an extra spin on the axe like that.
Yeah, he spun on himself a bit like a shot putter. Oof.
Nice.
And he looks a little bit smugly at Maple, using 2 of his advantage to give him a setback.
Oh, so you're getting like a stink eye.
Oh yeah.
And I'll use 2 advantage to recover a couple of strain.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Maple. Last throw, third throw. What you got?
5th generation lumberjack. I will not be outdone by a bug.
Termite.
I'm a bug. Mantis.
I understand that this is strictly for show. No self-respecting lumberjack would disarm himself by throwing his axe. He would use his psionic abilities for ranged attacks.
Yes,
So therefore, I will be upgrading my check
All right.
as I psych myself up before this.
Hmm?
No way. Double aim, so I'm at 6
Okay.
strain now.
Okay. Now, I was go ahead and flip one back because you might accidentally use your psionic power. And that axe might just go into the freaking water. Who knows, right?
Right. Okay.
Taking out one of the judges. Whoop.
Well,
All right.
the spares, I mean,
Yeah.
whenever you mix alcohol, axes, and lumberjacks, things can get kind of crazy.
All right.
Not this time.
Just 2 solid successes.
Okay. Well,
Very good.
puts him in the lead. It does put him in the lead. All right.
All right.
Mhm.
That was
All right. So
Rain's my final.
got your rain.
Yeah. So I'll flip the story point because he's feeling confident. He's got good groove going.
And I'm gonna flip one back too. Why are you flipping
All right.
yours? Because you got the groove going. All right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And you're flipping it back. All right. So there
I
you
am
go.
flipping it back. So it's still 2 on my side and 1 on the player's side now. So
Exactly. I'm
Okay.
I'm double aiming.
you are.
Huh? So
Okay. Now you are feeling the pressure here, kind of, because
oh, yeah.
Homeworld, Zal,
Yeah.
grandmother Mantis,
Well, that's it.
watching
That's
you for the first time. Your whole family, probably your whole hive.
whole
is up
hive. Yeah. Whole clutch.
I mean, what are we
All-
talking? Like 1,000? Like
Well, the
brothers
mantis are,
and sisters? Or
mantis are usually a little smaller. Maybe 20, 25.
okay, yeah, 20, 25.
Kids.
Okay, yeah. I mean, but they're all here.
Yeah. Plus,
and-
and all my other, those are brothers and sisters. Then I've got aunts and uncles, cousins and nephews and nieces.
How can a mantis be related to ants? I don't get it.
Who knows?
We're not supposed to talk about it, okay? We're not supposed to talk about to outsiders.
All right,
All right, let's go.
go for
Roll
it.
the dice. Whoo! 4 successes, but 2 threats.
Ooh. Successes, 2 threat. Okay. I'm gonna say the 4 successes. We're gonna represent that as a bullseye. Your last throw is a bullseye, right in the middle, and that actually you actually win this competition with 9 successes
Nice.
and 7 advantage to Maple's 5 successes and 2 advantage. So
he's a little impressed by himself, but still also like maybe the threat is maybe a couple of strain. He feels bad for the Musator. It's like doesn't necessarily want to show him up. He knows it's a big thing for him. He walks up to Maple and extends one of his mandibles. That was excellent.
Good throwing.
Yes, you as well. You had me worried about my own technique for a moment there. Very good.
Your 3-arm technique is impressive. If I could grow a 3rd arm, I would.
Oh, maybe we can work on that.
I already have a 2nd liver, maybe.
Okay.
All right, excellent.
Awesome. All right. So we're sitting after 5 events. We're sitting Maple at 3 events and Rain to 2 events.
Hmm.
And next we come to the log rolling competition. There's really not much of an explanation that really needs to be done. You guys are going to hop on a log and you're going to try and roll it until one of you guys falls off. Now, the way I have abstract how this is going to work, watching a video of log rolling, it seems like there's a lot of deception going on. Like, oh, no, I'm rolling this way. Oh, no, I'm rolling this way. I'm rolling this way. And it's how quickly the other is trying to respond, yet still trying to stay on the damn thing. Okay.
Right.
So what you're going to both be making 2 checks. One is going to be your vigilance against the other person's deception. Okay. To see how well they're telegraphing that, I'm going to roll this way or whatever, going to fuck you up. And then you're going to be rolling opposed coordination checks. Okay.
Okay.
You're going to be against their coordination. So it's just going to be however many successes, advantages, and triumphs you guys get.
All right.
Versus the other person's scores. So I think what we'll do is we'll just have you guys roll the vigilance checks at the same time, I think, on this. This could be fun. And we'll just see who gets more successes, and then we'll see, who's fallen off, and then we'll do the coordination, and then based on the coordination, we'll kind of add it up, and I don't know, we'll just see how this works.
Yep.
So what's your deception?
My deception, where is it here? There you go. It would be for you 2 purple.
Okay. And likewise, same for you.
All right.
Now, Chris, being a majestic Moosator.
You just said that you're a majestic moose?
From Moosator.
Moosator, right?
Yeah.
We have this little ability called mind shadowing.
Oh, really?
We can get into our opponent's head.
And what does that give you?
Now, it's discipline versus discipline to follow their perceptions.
Okay. That's at least a boost die for you on this check.
I'm not saying I want to make the actual check. I just kind of want to maybe get the tingle in my antlers for his surface thoughts, you know?
And I'm thinking that's worth that ability is worth at least a boost die to this check to give you just a little bit of an advantage on that. Stefan, do you want to ask me for boost die too in some kind of reason? I know you do. I'm going to say no. What do you got?
No,
maybe.
He's got his ability of wall walker, being a bug.
Yeah.
Usually it removes the difficulty to reduce falling damage when using athletics or coordination, but it might not apply here.
Well,
but maybe a boost to.
No, it's not going to on this. It's not going to do anything on the vigilance check. But we'll talk about it on the coordination check though.
Coordination, yeah. Coordination
on the coordination check. Right now, this is the vigilance check.
Right.
But keep that in mind, and we'll work on that on the coordination check. Sound good?
Yeah. Yep. No. Otherwise, no. The only thing I could come up with vigilance is with the deception is that I'm a bug. My mind is very different from his, but I don't think it would be that different.
No, you can actually take a setback die for that try. No, I'm just kidding. No, just all right. Go ahead. All right, so right. On 3, fellas. 1,
all right,
2, 3, go. All right. What you guys got?
Stefan.
All right. What'd you get, Rain?
Admit your failure.
Yeah. one failure, 1 threat.
Oh, so I got like nothing.
Yeah. Well, I only had 1 green as my skill.
So, you're very perceptive.
I had 3 successes, 2 advantage.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay then.
And his boost dice was 2 advantage as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
your majestic moose ability gave you that.
Yeah. The majestic Moosator, those antlers are kind of tingly. I kind of guessed what direction he was going to go every time.
Oh yeah, don't you know? And how would you like to spend those advantages? Excuse me.
I like the idea of passing. You know what? I'm in this for the long haul, and I know I've got a lot more competition to go.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll just take 2 of my 6 strain off.
Okay, sounds good. All right, gentlemen. Okay, so let's build up your coordination checks now.
Right.
And Stefan, you said that your climbing, your wall walker ability allows you to reduce the difficulty of climbing checks or coordination checks and stuff?
Just falling damage when I use athletics or coordination. reduce damage.
I'm telling you that I think that ability is worth a boost die on this.
All right, there
For
we
sure.
go. Excellent, and that's versus.
What's your coordination there, Mr. Maple?
Oh, my coordination is just two.
Two
purple.
purples.
Two purples.
And your
However,
yes.
now we Musatar
Yeah.
have this thing called a runner's gate that adds a boost die to our athletics or coordination checks when navigating obstacles.
This is I would consider a log in the water an obstacle. So yes, it applies.
Right.
And your base difficulty would be 2 red and a purple.
Okay, before I even hear that, I'm definitely flipping these 2 story points on you all because I was waiting for this coordination check because I want despairs and people falling in the water just because.
Right. Well,
I'm looking at a 2 green,
So
1
there
blue
was-
versus 3 red.
So there was one story point for the
Right.
play on the player side. I'm gonna say,
Neither of us can use it.
yeah, I'm gonna say kind of on the fair side. Yeah, for that.
That's fair.
Even though story, yeah.
It's raw talent.
But they're all on your
Yeah.
side. It's all raw talent. You're lumberjacks for Christ's sake.
Yeah. So we can still spend 1 each and upgrade.
No,
No.
I just put them
All
all
right.
over there.
All right.
Did you just hear what I said, Stuff?
I was
You got
trying.
maple syrup in your ears?
Yes. No, I've got a Musator in my head.
Soon enough. All right, so
All right.
Maple's kind of using his his majestic moose antlers to kind of know what way you're gonna go, and Rain is like, I got this bug brain, you can't figure it out, you little
Yep.
bastard.
Yeah.
And
But
I
they
also
make me top heavy,
or-
so I'm gonna topple over.
Yeah, or maybe this
All
time, I've got my low center of gravity.
all right, let's roll these coordination checks. 1, 2, 3. We got.
Oh,
Oh,
Tony, go ahead first this time.
All right, I had a single success, but I had 3 threat.
Versus my 2 successes, an advantage, and a triumph.
Oh, he's got a triumph.
Yeah.
Oh shit! What did I just do? Fuck. Oops. All right. Okay. All right. So
He had you missed the 1 advantage he had also.
he did have an advantage. Got
And
it.
one
Okay.
advantage.
One advantage. Got it. All
All
right.
Cover a strain with the advantage.
Okay.
3.
So, so Maple has a success. He has the 2 success. Okay, so overall, though, even with the triumph, we still have Maple with 4 successes overall. Rain with 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So Maple actually stays on and wins the competition.
Yeah, he wins by default because that's what he was supposed to stay on. But with the triumph,
but I you know what? I think how
well,
would
my
we
idea
work
for the triumph
Yeah, go ahead.
is that even though technically he falls, quote unquote, his mandibles still dig into the bark. He spins a couple of times, but still gripped onto the log. And when the Musasaurus, Maple's finally stops, Maple, dripping wet, still is clinging to the log, and then gets up, and he's still there.
Oh, so
Still impressive as hell. Like, yeah, but I'm still here.
so he doesn't fall off.
But he was
he doesn't fall off the log as much as Maple's still spinning the thing, and he ends it with you on it, still wet.
And and I just managed to stop the log so that neither one of us fall. I don't make him fall either, but I stay on it, shake myself a little bit. Yeah, I'm still here though.
Well, you fell and you got wet. So you lost, right?
Oh, I definitely lost.
But the thing is, there is a question, like the rules, because well, nobody really had mandibles to kind of hold on to the fucking log before everybody just wanted to drink, but they're still attached to it and they're wet.
Yeah.
No. He's wet. He went into the water. It's over. So that's it.
But it still impresses the judges and the spectators. Spectators are still cheering. Yeah, still.
And what is like all of like whoever's like on Zal here, never seen anything like this before. Nope. They all cheer, but everybody else is like, but he lost. Why y'all cheering?
He lost.
At 3 threat, right. You want me to just take 3 strain or
the 3 strain?
Maybe the fact that he stayed on the log that would give him a
you don't because when it spins around, right? It spins around. He falls. He gets wet first, and as he comes in and as he's spinning back, the log just kind of does this, and you go. You just fall into the water afterwards. You still win the competition, but you fall because he comes back up and the log just.
Okay.
You're like you weren't expecting it, and you just fall into the water.
Okay.
So you just kind of get all wet with it. And they're like, ooh, what? What's up with that?
I would think that it unnerves him a little bit, using 2 of the threat to give him a setback dice on the next event.
The next,
I don't know. That's just an idea.
Next one?
It'll be on the next show.
Well, I mean, he's all wet. He's kind of feeling a little like, what the hell? I should have stayed on that freaking log.
Yeah.
So maybe one setback die in your first, like you're like, man, what the heck? I'm going against this guy again. Ugh. Maybe a setback die. You still have that in your head. So yeah. So everybody. So after 6 events, we have Maple in the lead with 4 events won, but Rain, the bug, first generation lumberjack to be potentially with 2, making a very impressive run. Definitely, especially with the last one, staying on the log, impressing people like things people haven't seen at the competition before.
Yep.
So everybody, we have like 2 more events that are like, we have an underhand chop, we have boom running, we also have the axe melee, who will definitely, do the winner. So we can postpone, we can push this off to the next Advantageous Threats if you would like.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Sound good? All right.
Excellent.
I hope everybody else out there is like thinking, oh my gosh, really?
Before we move on,
yes,
you never let him decide exactly how mechanically you're going to spend that triumph. Is that going to upgrade his next check then, since he did something no one's ever done?
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I like that idea of you just coming into the next, maybe like the next competition here with like an automatic upgrade. Like you're like high on life, and when you're coming into the stadium, Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can make a note there, Tony.
It's in there.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. This one free upgrade.
Yeah, go for it.
There we go.
Yeah. And Tony, I think you get
I got it.
A setback day. Cool. All right. Yeah, for next time. Yeah, thanks for reminding me there, Tony. That's good. Yep.
Oh.
And then us all honest.
Yeah.
So that's the end of day 2 of the 4-day competition.
Excellent.
Nice.
So that was our Advantageous Threats.
Yes, thank you.
There's Stefan taking us out.
Yep.
Okay.
Or
I end it. I guess I end it because I'm doing it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You're the GM.
Do we know what we're doing? No, we don't know what we're doing.
Just end it already.
All right, everybody. Well, that's our show for tonight. Hopefully Maple won't do too much bar hopping tonight. For next time.
Won't you count on it?
Hey, we just needed to go rest. So next time I'm going to be running our next actual play series. I'm going to be running the Primeval Thule. It was a setting my buddy Brian and I converted using the Star Wars narrative dice system way back when. It's a setting that was inspired by. It's a sword and sorcery setting inspired by, the Conan the Barbarian novels, those things made by Sasquatch Studio, sprinkled in with some Cthulhu mythos. And I backed the Kickstarter back then when they converted it to D-Shift 7D, 5th edition stuff. And I've Genesized it since. So we're gonna give that a little show for you guys, and I've converted one of the adventures from that for these guys, and we're gonna have your son join us again there, Tony, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna have Sean join us.
Yup.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Looking forward to playing my character.
Me too.
Good. Yeah. So I mean, that should be, I don't know, maybe 4, maybe 5 sessions. I don't know. Who knows? 3, 4, 5, 10,
Yeah.
6, 10.
Oh.
Who knows?
However long, yeah.
Maybe take us 5 years to get it done. Who knows? No.
Well,
Once a
since
month
we don't
for
know
the
the
next
system
22 months.
Once a month for like 18 months, right?
Yeah, because we don't know the system all that well, apparently.
Well, exactly. Apparently we don't. So that's what we'll be doing next time. I'm looking forward to that. Got it pretty much done.
Yep.
Yeah. Just got to do one more pass through it, and all ready to go in Fantasy Grounds. All ready to go. So.
Excellent.
All right. Well, Stefan, what do we have for listener feedback?
We do have some listener feedback from one of our regular listeners, Cody Doolittle, also known sometimes on social media as Tally Darkstar. So he writes in relation to episode 81. So, hey guys, listening to episode 81, I decided to see what I would get if I randomly rolled for a setting. So I'm digging my rolls. So he starts off saying common tropes, new frontier / interplanetary travel. So he rolled again to think about options for subverting one. He says maybe subverting on the new frontier and the edge of space instead. It's in a gap of the solar system, but some ancient but still superior cloaking technology failed uncloaking the new planet, and it's been theorized for ages that the gap between planets was a scientific curiosity, and some believe that a planet was there, but with advanced technology beyond the humans' quantum age level, it was cloaked, and the humans couldn't penetrate the cloaking device until it failed. So it's a bit like, he messaged me privately a little bit about it and saying that imagine the solar system, our solar system, with Mars removed or invisible, and suddenly it reappears. So
Nice.
those conspiracy theorists, flat earthers, Planet 9 crazies, who thought of some hidden planet were actually right. So it's a tentative name, Planet 9, tech level, quantum age, world structure, artificial construction, climate temperate, environment, wasteland, and he's got also megalopolis.
Whoa. Okay. All right, Cody. All right, you fucker. You can't name Planet 9. It's actually called the Ruins of Steam. Peaks. Okay, that's exactly what this world is. Dude, we may have to work on this together. You know that.
And he's got other inhabitants and oddities, the ruins of the elder races.
That's cool.
He writes in as well, saying, reminds me a little of Keyforge, maybe a cross between Twilight Imperium and Keyforge.
No. Think Vikings put on
Vikings
Autobots,
in the quantum
Decepticons.
age. The quantum Vikings.
Hush up, you. Let him finish.
I know. I'm sorry.
So he says, if you guys get excited about this as I am, feel free to keep up here. And he has a World Anvil link. We could share in the show notes. So he says, if I figure out a better name, I'll be sure to pass along the new web address. But for now, that's it.
I
Signed,
got
Cody Doodle. Thank you, Cody. That was awesome.
Thanks for joining us on the little challenge there, Cody. It's nice to have
Yeah.
a listener that plays along.
Yeah.
So,
Cody, thanks for finding a solar system where my planet can fit in. So.
There you go.
all right. So,
outer planets.
right.
That's awesome.
So you can email us like Cody did at findingthenarrativepodcast@gmail.com. You can get a hold of Stefan and I on Facebook, Finding the Narrative. We're all three on Mayway still. For now, Finding the Narrative. And Stefan is on Twitter with his @FTN_Genesys. Recommend us to others at all the places where podcasts can be listened to: Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, and more. This is Tony saying, let's tell a story. Been a story point.
Unless they're all on the GM side. And this is Stefan saying, dare to ask for the boost dice.
And this is Chris telling you all to remember the rule of cool and to not go drinking with frickin' Maple because you don't know how to hold the alcohol.
You don't know what you're
Doing
talking
this-
about.
You don't know how to hold it when you're doing your springboard competition.
Just remember the rule of moose.
That's right. Go play some
Hey.
hockey. Go
Hey.
play some hockey at least tonight. Let's go get a pickup game. Hockey. We'll score some goals. We get more goals than the other guys. We're gonna win the game.
That's what
all
the
it
game's
is.
all about.
That's
Yep.
what the game's all about. Scoring more goals than the other
Get some
guys.
maple syrup and some poutine.
Yeah, and then we'll just have fun doing it.
Yep.
Good night, everybody. Don't you know?
Finding the Narrative, a Genesys RPG podcast, is not affiliated with or endorsed by any companies mentioned on this show. Any of the products mentioned on our show or appear on our website are the property and copyright of their respected owners. All items are used under fair use and educational and review purposes. All other items are the intellectual property of Finding the Narrative, a Genesys RPG podcast. Copyright
2021.
all rights reserved.